So just for either of you, it was a really good like distributed scoring game. Just what do you think of the ball movement and everybody kind of getting involved tonight?
I think that it showed how good we are when we do share the ball. And I think when everyone touches the ball, we all use our abilities to help each other so much. And I think that we never questioned how individually talented everyone is. And I think that when we work like together, it just goes to show like even if we miss a shot, we're still like together. Like if we run the play, execute, miss a shot, like get a good shot, it's still better than like, just kind of the like feeling of when we go down and we don't play and we don't involve each other. I just think it kind of like exposes of how good we are when we play together.
And then Sam, you really got going, like just getting downhill and finishing around the rim. Just what do you think of kind of your ability tonight to take advantage of some of those creases that you saw?
Well, as a lot of people know, we have three very fast guards, and so a lot of teams have to choose which person, like which one of their fastest people they're going to put on one of our fastest guards, and so that kind of leaves like an advantage for the person who doesn't have the fast person. So I took advantage of the fact that I didn't have somebody who I felt was able to guard me on me, and I capitalized.
And the last thing I'll ask is Saylor, it just seems like the past couple games, just like you're stepping in your shot with so much confidence. I guess how does it feel right now, just on the offensive end for you?
It feels good. I think I put in a lot of work to my shot, and sometimes when I come in the game, I think a lot. And so just taking that aspect out of it and trying my best, like focusing so much on defense allows me to take the pressure off the offensive end. And I think going into the season, focusing on rebounding has helped because I don't put a pressure on offense and I kind of do what comes in the flow. And I think that it just shows like when I'm in the flow of it, I'm very confident. And when I force things or I'm not, when I fall away or I'm not sure, it just like shows I'm not, it won't go in. And I think that me stepping in has to show like that I'm letting the game come to me a little bit more offensively.
All right. So going into the match with UCA, was there any specific play style, you had going into it? And this is for either of y'all.
No, we just played how we normally play. UCA, I mean, we played them in the past. They weren't the same team that we played in the past. I can definitely say that they shot the ball a lot more than they did the past 2 years that I've been here. But honestly, we just played our game, and normally we play our game, but sometimes it doesn't look the best. I feel like tonight it kind of looked the best because the ball was very well distributed. We were taking good shots, getting everybody involved.
Okay, and then this is another general question. So this is the second year in a row that the women's basketball program is going 5-0 into the season. Like, how does that speak for the continuity of the program and the season prospects?
It's always good to go 5-0, but I think when you schedule, sometimes you're using these games to, get a flow, get a feel, let your team get acclimated, let all the kinks come out. And I think Coach Neighbors breaks it down into segments of, we go on a stretch, it's a 3-game or a 5, like whatever. This was our 5-game stretch. So I think just being able to complete it and, not have lost feels good. It allows us to go into Florida, go on our Thanksgiving trip with like an open mindset. And I think it's just like a good start, but also it's more, we really showed how much we grew through those 5 games. Like, I think if you watched like our first game, you could see like certain things weren't clicking, but like as it went, I think we progressed very well.
Okay. And then speaking on the Thanksgiving trip, y'all guys won't be home again until the UCLA match. What are your thoughts going into the Elevance Health Women's Fort Myers tip-off?
There are good teams there. I feel like it'll be kind of like a good time for us. And then after we leave there, our next game is against Florida State, who we all know is pretty decent this year. So honestly, I just feel like all of that, this game stretch, I feel like will probably be our toughest besides the SEC, just because we're playing a lot of really good and sound teams. But I feel like it'll also prepare us for league play when it comes.
I get a chance to talk to you after the ASU game. Obviously, going on the road, getting a win like that, and then going on, down to this tournament. Talk about playing in those situations, and how it helps you develop confidence as you continue to go throughout the season.
At Arkansas State, it was like it was kind of a fun environment. Like there was a smaller arena, so everyone packed. But I think that when you are an Arkansas school, like a lot of those players take pride in playing the state school. Like, I mean, they're Arkansas State, but like the University of Arkansas, they're going to give us our best shot. It would show so much, like if they beat us. And I think that it's kind of a fun environment because like when we go to LSU, it's going to be a very hostile environment. So it's definitely not on a scale of LSU, but it is fun to go down there and be able to win and be able to, kind of get past that. Because a lot of girls haven't played in like, even though it's not the biggest arena, like the fans being like all rah rah is kind of new for people. So just being able to experience that was fun.
Saylor, I think Miriam got some of your rebounds, but I think she made more threes than she did layups. But have y'all encouraged her to shoot the three ball more?
Yes. Miriam's shot
Yeah.
is so beautiful, and sometimes she's a hard overthinker. So she's always like, I don't know, and I'm like, Miriam, just shoot the ball. I'm more mad at her when she doesn't shoot it, but yeah, I'm always on her about shooting the ball. I want her to succeed from the 3-point line, like we all do.
Yeah, and I think it's a big deal when your post player can shoot a three because when it doesn't matter if she's in the corner or if she's in the top, like they're gonna have to guard her, which opens up the paint for all of our guards. So it's big when she can shoot confidently.
Just to hop on the Merriam point, obviously playing really confident. Saylor, in particular with you, how does it kind of open things up when she's playing as aggressive as she's been both on the outside and the inside?
It forces the defense to have to make a choice because if she's like when we set up, they can't step off of either one of us. And I think that it allows it to open up for either one of us. Even for me, if I continue to shoot well, like they're not going to be able to get in the gap as much for her. So I think when Miriam and I play confident together, it makes it very difficult because they have to be able to guard all five. And I think that's really big in the SEC is being able to not have like, oh, we can sag off on her. We can, like whatever it is. So I think when she plays confident, it's a big difference.
And for both of you, as you head into the Thanksgiving tournament, points of emphasis for the team this week. What are you guys looking to do as you go down there?
Win.
Yeah, win. I think also have fun. It's a thing. Coach Neighbors does a really good job of like emphasizing fun. So I think go down there, have fun Thanksgiving and win.
Want to give an opening statement or just fire questions? Fire questions. Let's go.
Y'all had a good spurt there, I think, from 17-4 to 17-10, and then another one, maybe it was 12-0 right before half. What were you doing well during that time?
First of all, you have to weather the storm when you play them. I mean, they're going to fire enough shots that you're going to face runs, and so we tried to, I told our team that we were going to use some timeouts to try to mess with rhythm whenever they got it. And so we used some, really just try to change what they had going on. And then, I think just generally that stuff's hard to answer sometimes until you watch film. What did you do well? We made more shots. I can tell you that but we did move the ball. I thought at the end of the second quarter, we moved the ball so much better. Our decision-making was really good. We took some easy plays. And when you do that, we've got some good little offensive players running around out there. And so if you move the ball, make easy passes, then we can get some shots that we like. And, I think in the spurts that we played well, that's probably what was going on.
Tony, I know it's your first year back at UCA. Just what do you like through the 4 games y'all played? What do you like about your team so far?
I think my favorite thing is probably just the general makeup and overall talent level of what we've gotten there kind of quickly. I don't think we're a finished product. And if you look on our roster, there's nobody. I think KP Kiera Prim says senior, but she can come back next year. So we've got a group that can stay together over the next couple years. And we've grown a lot. Tonight we grew a lot. Like this was a good environment for us to play in. I think that when we played well, that is that's what we tried to recruit to. If you watched us play in those spurts, that's what I want it to look like. We just have to learn how to make it look like that more often. And we have 10 new players. No one's ever played for me. Like it was going to be a process. And so some days, if you ask me, I'm like, we're a little ahead of schedule. Some days we're not, but I think we're in a good place. And I thought they fought hard. I'm proud of their effort. I'm proud, basketball is very up and down and you have to level off. And I thought emotionally we were that tonight in a difficult environment. So that's a good step forward. And there was times when, we were taking pretty heavy punches and there was times when we were delivering some little jabs, I'll call them.
You've been coaching, you've seen a lot of good freshmen. Just what do you think of Scott for Arkansas?
She can fill it up. She can fill it up. And I don't even know. I thought the difference was, anytime you play, you have to try to scheme to pick your poison. And, Poffenbarger and Dowd shot the heck out of it. They made 6 threes between them. It is what it is. But they're capable of doing that. But you have to decide like who you're going to try to let beat you. And then they did, which is that you run the risk of that happening, and hats off to them for doing it. But I thought they were tremendous. Ball moved around, stuck with them. Poffenbarger, bang, and that I thought that was kind of the difference in those lulls. We didn't want to give up a lot of layups. We probably didn't, but we fouled a lot. So, somehow we got to figure out no layups without free throws.
Poffenbarger was just in here talking about she and Dowd are confident together. And if you were going to do a scouting report for the next teams they play, what would you recommend? How do you combat Arkansas?
Well, what I did didn't work. So, and I talked to Coach Neighbors before the game just about, I admire they have a system and they coach their players confidently. And so they're going to have some really good nights, obviously. And they were that tonight. You play math and sometimes the math doesn't come out on your side. And but they're really quality players. So that it doesn't surprise me that might've happened.
Just what do you think about this series? I know this is Arkansas's 3rd straight game in state. Neighbors has said he wants to go down and play y'all there. Just what do you think about keeping that in-state series going?
Yeah, I think it's obviously fun. I think this was a great environment to play in. I don't have the history of the Fair Center, but when we get them in there, there'll be a lot of people there. It'll be a nice crowd for Central Arkansas women's basketball. So I think that part's fun. These games are good learning experiences for your team. They help you get better. I do think it helped in that respect. And so it's, and we actually don't have as many Arkansas kids right now as I think we'll end up having someday down the road. We didn't have a lot of time. We invested as much as we could in Arkansas kids, but it's fun for Kinley Fisher to come in here and make some threes. It's fun for Cheyenne Kemp as a freshman to play up here. And so, it's a good series. Appreciate the fact that it's played. And I appreciate Coach Neighbors' willingness to go out too and possibly play down at our place. Thank you, guys.
Go.
Just what'd you think of tonight? You had all 5 of your starters
Yeah.
scoring double figures. What'd you just think of? I guess the ball was really moving well out there.
Yeah, I thought we had some lineups where it was. We had some where it didn't, and we'll have some film of that. But with that group, really, really pleased with how we managed it, how we attacked. The balance is when we're at our best. Obviously, I know that we've got that, but it's good to see it on display in one of these kind of the first 5. We kind of broke the season up into 5, so to see a balanced scoring night was really good.
Sam talked about it some about how just other teams have to pick their poison with the 3 fast guards. And then Coach Kemper just said the same thing. Just what'd you think of tonight, kind of it being Sam's turn to really fill it up?
And I think that's what our kids are learning. They're trying to, teach Talia as a freshman that you look at a 5-game stretch and a 10-game stretch and a 15-game stretch, and they've been here long enough to know that all equals out. People because how she played at Arkansas State, they're going to make sure she can't probably get to the mid range. So that means somebody else does it. And just the luxury of being able to on the fly, them make the change or us make the call from the bench to move them around a little bit. I'm sure it would be very hard to guard. Likewise, we had some matchup issues with that. So I thought he did a good job of exploiting those times when we didn't have those kids on the right kids. And I thought, between Fisher and Upshaw, they really got going there at the end of that second quarter and really changed the momentum of the game going into halftime.
Did you kind of have a substitution plan before the game and went with that? It looked like a lot more wholesale in the first half than the second half.
Yeah. When we broke the schedule up, we had it scripted and we stuck to the script the entire first half. Without any additions or changes, so that we know what we have going down to this next 5-game stretch, which if you look with Wisconsin, Marquette, UCLA, Florida State, you got a lot of ranked teams in there, teams bubbling around getting votes. So I felt like we needed to have on film enough usable film to teach to the kids who are in those rotations, but also to give our kids the confidence when we do need more depth. Emory coming back has really helped us a lot. Continuing to give Jenna and Christina and Carly valuable minutes in there, I think, is really important to us. And I think it's important to them. They're very coachable and they've been eating this film up. So good pickup. But yeah, it was on a card and we followed it. Go.
Yeah. Obviously, your schedule takes a little bit of a step up, as you said. Talk about what you feel like you've got accomplished during, I guess, the 2 scrimmages and these 5 games as you head into, at least heavily.
I think our roles are pretty clear. I mean, I think now they're defined. Now we got to accept them and play to our strengths. But I do think we got that accomplished. And knowing that how it lays out the 2 back-to-back to start, and then the trip back to Florida, turn right back around and go down there. And then you come back and you got a team, I think, moved up to number 3 in the country, 2 in the country. Yeah. Okay. But that's, I first of all, the 5 that we scheduled for these people, when we scheduled them, didn't have these rosters. Tony wasn't and I'm not saying anything about Coach Rushing or anything that's happened in the past, but this is a completely different Central Arkansas team. Y'all have seen them long enough to know they shoot it. They've got good pieces. He's doing they're playing really, really hard for him. So I think if you'd asked me before the season started, I wouldn't have thought we would be as far along because we've been tested, and I'm glad that we have, because like you said, Wisconsin is really good, but I think we've played teams that are similar to them. So I think we'll be prepared going down there. And I look around the country, I promise you, one time a night, and Dorita's sitting back there and she watches more games than I do, believe it or not. And I maybe she'll get an amen out of this, but there's one game a night I have to double check the actual box score. Like I look at it and go, there was one the other night and I won't say it, but I looked at it and I went, well, that can't be right. And then I looked at the box score and I still didn't think it was right. I was like, well, that can't be right. And then I looked at both the box scores before I was finally going to convince myself. And it's happening. And I think that's a good sign for women's basketball that can happen in the non-conference. So I'm glad it hasn't happened to us. I do think this group has learned to play through wins. Sometimes you have to lose to learn. And then so far, this team's been really good. Their talk has been amazing. I think that's credit to Mac and Sam and Saylor in the way that they've been going about helping Miriam into a new role and helping Talia adjust to just being a freshman in college, as well as everybody that we're bringing off the bench, all new roles. Welcoming Sasha back. She continues to impact us in lots of ways that don't always show up in the stat sheet. Not they did a little bit, but I think we do know our roles, and I'm pleased with where we're headed into this next 5-game set.
Obviously, we show up and cover a lot of games here. A lot of them seem the same, but this one was unique in that you were honoring Native American. Talk about that a little bit. Now it's a little different.
Lacey did an amazing job last year of reaching out and starting this, and then to become the actual N7 game this year. It takes a lot of work, a lot of preparation, and obviously having Carly on our team, our roster right now. We had people come in and do storytelling the last 2 days. We used every bit of shoot around today to listen to stories. We had India Lewis's family come in as well. Brandy and Macy came in with their kids and talked about, India's history here and how much she loved being a Razorback. It was very moving. So I think we all learned a lot from it. It's not something that we're just going to, I think Mac summed it up better. She said, you can't just wear the jerseys. This group went and spent an entire day in Oklahoma over in Tahlequah doing community service. I'm not talking about a couple hours. I'm talking about full day painting, working, scraping paint. So I think that's the really, really cool things. There were so many people that came. I mean, again, 4,200. That's a great job by our marketing staff getting that out. We've had unbelievable home crowds. So, the color just pops. I've had 10 people already ask me, hey, where can I get that jersey? Where can I get that jersey? Where can I get that jersey? So, I'm glad that it brings attention to what it does. And our kids learned a lot the last 2 days for sure.
One last one, obviously, what does Thanksgiving look like for y'all while you're on the road? And, and then, off of that, you've got a decent couple of games down there.
Yeah. You rotate it kind of every other year. You try to be home for Christmas or home for Thanksgiving. One of those two. This year it's Christmas. So we'll be as a team down there. We'll practice here on Wednesday. We're off tomorrow because of the way the week's laid out. We'll practice here at home on Wednesday and travel down there and get a practice and a big meal on Thursday, early meal so that we can get it out of our system for the Wisconsin game. I think it's 2 Eastern time. So, I love the 2-game tournaments because it gets you ready partially for the SEC tournament, back-to-back games. We tried to simulate that last week. I got after them really hard before the Arkansas State game in practice. We spent a lot of time on the practice floor to kind of try to simulate back-to-back games. Then as a result of that, we had to turn around and go on this game with a 1-day prep. And that was but we try to lay that whole week out. We'll get down there. We'll have some fun. We'll be in Florida. I'm not one of those coaches that takes a team to Florida and then puts a sun restriction on them. We'll get out and we'll enjoy the area. It's obviously close to home for Sam and Talia. So even though we're going to be back down there numerous times throughout the season, this will be a fun one to have around the holidays.
Hey, Coach, coming into this game, you guys were hovering around 25% 3-point shooting wise. Tonight, up near 40%. Merriam obviously hit a few.
Yep.
How much does it help you guys when you can space the floor effectively like that?
Well, I think we can still continue to shoot it better. We've started defining our shots before they go in. Like when they leave their hand, is it a good shot or not? So we're calling them neithers. So if y'all hear us talking about if the ball has neither touched the paint and come back out, or the ball has neither been thrown up the street in transition, that's when our percentages go down. So our shot selection has been a lot better, I think, these last 2 games. I think Merriam is now 6 for her last 12. I think she went 3 for 6 the other night as well. And, Saylor starts to, we all know how well she shoots it in practice. It was good to see that happen in a game. And I think we can still shoot it better. But when I look down there and see 27 free throw attempts, that's always a good thing for us getting to the foul line. 81, 82, we've scored like 81, 82, 81, like 4 of our 5 games, I think. And then 77 against, so it's kind of that number. If we get to it, it's a good number for us. But if we can continue to shoot the 3 good shots, I think we'll continue to see our percentages go up.
Talked about breaking the season kind of up into 5-game sets. In this first 5-game set, what area would you say you've seen this team grow the most?
Well, we're taking better care of the ball, and they're really talking to each other about shots. There's been times with our team where we get in evaluation mode during a live ball on our shots. I think now we're at least doing that in dead balls or in the film room. That's improvement. That's progress. Last year, it took us probably 10 games before we got there. So to get there in 5, I think we can continue to do that. Our bad possessions are really ugly. I know that. Okay. Be patient with us. We're playing through rather than try to take over. I want us to learn to play through when the possessions end up getting a little choppy. I think we're seeing fewer and fewer of those. But we'll continue to put them in positions to, I've always heard, I think it was Warren Buffett or somebody said, if people are afraid to make mistakes, they'll never make great decisions. So we're trying to do a lot of teaching through film, a lot of teaching through experience. And I think as long as we can continue to do that through wins, it'll help us continue to progress through this next 5-game set heading into, the 2 tournaments. Sure. Like a Zoom or a Zoom. Yeah, sure. Get you the Wisconsin and either Marquette, Boston College. Yeah, I'll be ready for them tomorrow. No, there's here. Yeah. Oklahoma State. I think Utah might have. There's only select schools. I'm not sure who all it is this year, but you probably could Google, or Lacey might know. Yeah.